Good morning, students. I hope so. Everyone is good and everyone is fit and fine. So, in the previous lecture, we have started off with this chapter number 10, Life in the Deserts, from the subject Geography, class 7th. And today, we are going to continue with the same chapter in lecture number 2, from chapter 10, Life in the Deserts, class 7, subject Geography. So in the previous lecture, we have talked about the desert area. So basically, the desert area of the world are being characterized by different categories, which are low rainfall, scanty vegetation, and extreme temperatures. And basically, in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the hot desert. What are these hot deserts? Basically, we have discussed about the Sahara Desert, which is known as the world's largest desert, and it is covering a very large part of North Africa, and it touches almost 11 countries. Apart from that, the climate that Sahara Desert is having is very scorching hot, and it is very dry at sometimes. The vegetation that you find there are in different categories, and similarly you will find there OCs as well. Then animals are also different kind of variety of animals are also found there, like camels, jackals, scorpions, and other varieties of like lizards and snakes as well. Then the people who are living there are like divided into different kind of groups. We have discussed that, and what kind of things that they do, what kind of work that they do. We have discussed that. Now in today's lecture, we'll be discussing about the cold desert. So we have discussed about the hot one. Now in today's lecture, we'll be discussing about the cold desert. So the topic that we will be covering today is going to be these. So the topics to be covered are the cold desert, which is there in India only, that is Ladakh. If you have visited Ladakh or not, you should know about it, but that is known as the cold desert from India and in overall world as well. And what are the basic features that this cold desert is having? We are going to discuss that. Then what are the climatic conditions that in Ladakh which is there and they face. Then there will be different kind of flora and fauna that is found in that particular area. We are going to discuss that, and how people basically work there, how they live there, what kind of variety of tribes who are living there. We will be discussing that. I will be giving you the homework solution that I have given you in the previous lecture, and the homework I will be providing you with this lecture. That is going to be the assignment, a kind of assignment only that you have to do. There will be 8 questions that we are going to do, so you have to do that. Okay, so we are starting with the lecture now. Everyone, please be ready with your books, with your notebook and one pen in your hand to write down the notes. Okay, so now we are starting with the lecture. So first of all, I am just going to give you a quick introduction about the topic, that is the cold desert, which is there in Ladakh. So if you have visited it, Ladakh is there in India only, and basically it's a major part of the North India. So basically Ladakh is a cold desert which is lying in the Great Himalayas on the eastern side of Jammu and Kashmir. So basically in the uppermost part of the north, there is Jammu and Kashmir, and in the eastern side, basically in the eastern side, you can find Ladakh there. Leh and Ladakh, both are combined there. So in Leh and Ladakh, Ladakh is the one which is particularly known as the cold desert. Now there is a particular region that you can find in your book also, that is a figure given to you on page figure number 10.4, that is a Karakoram range in the north, and the Zanskar mountains in the south enclose it. So basically this particular cold desert is surrounded by a range, a mountain range which is there, which is particularly known as Karakoram range, which is being covered with totally with mountains only in the north, and from the other kind of mountains which are there, that is known as Zanskar. Zanskar mountains are basically there in the south, that enclose the entire area of the Ladakh. Basically it is surrounded by the mountains only. So basically in the north side it is covering the Karakoram range, and in the south side it is covered with the Zanskar mountains. So apart from that, there are several rivers that flow through Ladakh, that is Indus being the most important among them. So apart from the mountains, there are also several rivers also that flow from Ladakh only, that passes through Ladakh only, and one of the most important river who passes from there is Indus, is being one of the most important among them. And apart from that, there are other rivers who form deep valleys and gorges. So basically if you have visited Ladakh, you have seen that there are different kind of rivers flowing from in between of the mountains, and there will be different valleys also that you can see there. So basically these are the different kind of rivers that flow from there, and they form a kind of a valley, a kind of a gorge. Gorges means are basically that is forming a kind of a ocean kind of a situation, like a kind of a zone. So that's basically gorges. So the rivers, they form different kind of deep valleys, and apart from that they form different kind of gorges too. Now there are other several glaciers are found in Ladakh. For example, the Gangri glacier. So what is Gangri glacier? See, basically Gangri glacier is a glacier that is found in Ladakh only. It's a form of a glacier only. So apart from rivers, apart from mountains, you can find other kind of glaciers too, which are the ice glaciers that you can know known for. So the most famous one that is there as a glacier is Gangri, which is very much famous in Ladakh. Now the altitude in Ladakh varies from about 3000 meter in Kargil to more than 8000 meter in the Karakoram. So basically what is the kind of a latitude that surrounds in Ladakh? It varies from a different region. So basically if we start from Kargil, it is around 300 meters, and it can come up to more than like 8000 meter in the Karakoram as well. So due to this high latitude, basically the range of mountains which are there, and the range of it is above the land surface area. So see, मतलब जितना land surface से ऊपर होगा, that we are counting. So Ladakh it varies from like 3000, it's starting from Kargil, and when it reaches to Karakoram, it is more than 8000 meter. So due to this high latitude which is we found there, the climate is extremely cold and dry. So because it is very much above from the normal range of plain area, it is very in such a high latitude. That's why the climate is extremely cold and dry there, and the air at this latitude is so thin that the heat of the sun can be felt intensely. So basically because of the region that is there, the air at this latitude which is surrounded by them is so thin, it is very thin, that you can even feel that the air is passing through you, so that the heat of the sun can be felt intensely. Like the wind air also you can felt it very easily, and the heat of the sun you can also felt very intensely. So because it is very above the range of a normal plain area. So the day temperatures in summer are just above 0 degree, and the night temperature well below minus 30 degrees Celsius. So the temperature that is there is extremely cold only. Like if you are going there, the temperature will go up to a level of like starting in the morning, like in the summers, it will be, you will finding there will be 0 degree. It will be starting from 0, 1, 2, more, it will be not more than that. And in the night, the temperature will be go below like minus 30 degrees Celsius also. So that's a kind of extreme cold and dry situation which is there in Ladakh. Now because of this situation, it is freezing cold in the winters, when the temperature may be remain below minus 40 degree for most of the time. So like in this particular time, in like the period from December, January and Feb, in winter especially, it is a freezing cold temperature there. And if you are visiting there, you will be living in a particular place where you can't even breathe properly, because the temperature may remain below minus 40 degree for most of the times. And as it lies in the rain shadow of the Himalayas, there is little rainfall, as like low as 10 centimeter every year. So basically the Ladakh, which is the place, it basically follows in between of the Himalayas. It is in the rain shadow of the Himalayas only. Because of that, there is very less rainfall that you can find there, and like it is up to like very little rainfall, as low as 10 centimeter every year that they see. So the area basically experiences freezing winds and burning hot sunlight, because the air condition that flows through that, it is very thin. Because of that, you can even feel that it is passing through you. So the area experiences freezing winds, if it's in the cold region, you will feel the wind blow which is coming above, and if it is sunlight, you will feel the burning hot sunlight too, because it is not filtered at all. because when you are in the down, like in the area like we are just right now, you will not face that kind of a situation. But it is to such a high latitude, because of that you will be experiencing a lot of freezing wind, and you can experience even sunlight that will be burning to you. Now you will be surprised to know that if you sit in the sun with your feet in the shade, you may suffer from both sunstroke and frostbite at the same time. The situation is there? Because there the situation is that because of the high latitude which is being formulated in the dark area, if you are just sitting there, because there is no filter, you are like the sun will be touching to you directly there because of the high latitude. So if you are being your one part is in shadow and your one part is in sunlight, you can like face both of the things all together, because one position will be facing the cold winds and the other will be facing the direct hot sunlight. Because of that, you if you are sitting in the sun with your feet in the shade, and you may suffer from both sunstroke will be there and frostbite at the same time you can face because of this particular situation. Now another topic that is here, that was the climatic condition that we are going to face. Like it is extremely cold and dry due to high latitude. It receives rainfall as low as 10 centimeter every year due to the rain shadow of the Himalayas. Now we are going to talk about the flora and fauna that you find there. So what kind of different flora and fauna that we are going to find in Ladakh region is basically due to the high aridity. See, basically aridity is basically where there will be low temperature most of the time. So the vegetation is sparse, that you will be there will be less situation that you can grow vegetation in these kind of regions. So there are very scanty patches of grasses and scrubs for animals to graze. So because of there will be no humid, there will be no particular moisture which is there. So because of that, there are scanty patches of grasses and scrubs for animals to graze, and because of that only there will be groves of willows and poplars are seen in the valleys. So basically, apart from that, if you are going there, you can basically see that there will be very little patches of grasses that you are going to find there, and mostly it will be covered with sometimes with snow, or sometimes with like patches of groves of willows or poplars which are seen in the valley. So it is basically covered most of the time with snow, or else it will be dry and patchy mostly, and there will be no condition that the animals could be grazed properly. So that's the kind of a situation which is there. So during the summers, fruit trees such as apple, apricots and walnuts bloom. So in the summer it is basically possible, because the direct sunlight can cause to them, and it can like create a little humid situation. So there are conditions that they can formulate certain fruits tree, which are apples, apricots and walnuts, which can bloom there very easily. But there are several species of birds are sighted in Ladakh too. So basically the kind of like things that can be bloomed there are basically the fruit trees, which are apples, apricots and walnuts. So in the flora you can find there these things only, and in the fauna basically the animals, the other different species of birds that you can find there are sighted in Ladakh. That is robins, redstarts, Tibetan snowcock, raven and hope are the common ones. So these are the different variety of birds that you are going to find in Ladakh, which are there, which basically can like take the kind of like this cold and extreme weather, they can easily take away with them. So that is robins, redstarts, Tibetan snowcock, raven, hoopoe are common birds that are basically you can find in Ladakh. Now apart from that, what other kind of tribes that you can find there are basically, some of these are migratory birds. So apart from these kind of birds, you can find other migratory birds as well. The animals of Ladakh are wild goats or wild sheep, yak and special kind of dogs as well. So the other kind of animals of Ladakh are very you can find there are basically the wild goats that you can find there, wild sheep, yak and special kind of dogs which can survive in the extreme kind of cold situations there. So these are the animals who can basically survive and can tolerate the kind of extreme cold situation and dry patches easily. So that's why they can stay there. So they are the animals that are found in Ladakh are basically wild goats, wild sheep, yak, and other special kind of dogs. So the animals are very reared. The animals are very reared there, and to provide for the milk, meat, and hides. So basically, the animals which are very rare that you can find there, who is going to provide you other kind of stuff which are basically milk, meat, and hides. So mostly in Ladakh, they use yak's milk is used to make cheese and butter. So they don't use cow and like buffalo that the milk we use here. They use yak's milk. They use yak's milk is used to make cheese and butter. And apart from that, there is the hair of the sheep and goat which is used to make woolens. So basically, apart from that, the animals which is found in like wild sheep and goat, they use their hair to make other kind of woolen clothes and woolens kind of a stuff which they make from that. Now, another thing that we are going to discuss is what kind of people that live in Ladakh and what kind of circumstances they live in, what kind of work they do, and what kind of tribes which are living there. So, if you find or do you find any resemblance between the people of Ladakh and the inhabitants of Tibet and Central Asia? So, the people here are either Muslim or Buddhist. So, basically, the kind of tribes and the kind of people who are living in Ladakh region are basically Tibetans, which could be like the people who are either Muslims or they will be Buddhists. Like in fact, several Buddhist or monasteries dot the Ladakhi landscape with their traditional gompas. Gompas is a kind of their traditional form of virtuing certain thing that they do. So basically, they are the formulation of their traditional things that surrounds with the Buddhist culture only. So mostly whatever kind of temples which are there, they are mostly Buddhist, and there are other monasteries too which are built there according to the Buddhist culture only. So there are several Buddhist monasteries dot with the Ladakhi landscape with their traditional gompas only. So some special monasteries which are basically found there are Hempis, Thikse, She, and Lama Yuru. That is, these are the kind of monasteries, Buddhist monasteries, which are basically found there, that are categorized into these things, which is Hemish, Thikse, She, and Lama Yuru. Now, basically, in the summer season, the people are very much busy in cultivating barley, potatoes, peas, beans, and turnip. So basically, in the summer season, mostly people are very much busy in cultivating the other thing, because in that time only they can build these particular things. So basically, what the kind of vegetation that they grow there are, firstly they grow like the cultivation of barley, potatoes, peas, beans, and turnip, which are basically grown there, and in the summer season only, because in this particular time they can easily grow. But the climate in winter months is so harsh that people keep themselves engaged in the festivals and some ceremonies only. So mostly they try to cover all these croppy things and cultivating the crops in summer season only, because the climate in winter months is so harsh and cold that people like cannot go much and they cannot grow even the crop that is being grown there. So the people keep these kind of months for, they engage these kind of months for their festivals and ceremonies only. Now the women are very hardworking there. All the women who are staying in Ladakh region, they are so hardworking. They do all the kind of work like homework, जो घर का काम होता है basically वो सारी चीजें. Apart from that, they are doing cultivating the crops as well. Then they are like engaged into different kind of managing the businesses and shops as well. So they work not only in the house and fields, but they also manage their small businesses which are there, like bangles, earrings, other kind of clothing stuff, and they like they have their own shops which they make food and other kind of things, jewelry, clothes, and all these things. So basically the women out there are very hardworking. They don't only work in their houses and fields, but they also manage their own businesses and shops as well. Now Leh is basically the capital of Ladakh, which is well connected both by road and air. So Leh is the capital of Ladakh, which is here, which is very much connected with both by road and by air too. If you are traveling to Ladakh by air, so you have to, like, there is the airport is there in Leh, you have to like come there, and then you can, by road you can go to Ladakh. So the national highway, which is A1A, that connects from Leh to Kashmir Valley through the Zojila Pass. So basically, if you are coming from the roads, so there is the main national highway which connects, which is there, which is 1A. That is the one who is connecting Leh to Kashmir Valley through the Zojila Pass. Now, can you name some more passes in the Himalayas? So there are other kind of national highways too, which passes from the Himalayas to Leh and Ladakh. So there are basically, tourism is a major activity with several tourists streaming in from within India and abroad. So like tourism is one of the most famous attraction for Leh and Ladakh there, and most of the tourists come there and travel there a lot, not only from India but from abroad as well. So there are other several tourists streaming in, not only from India but from abroad as well. So they visit to all these Gompas, basically these Buddhist monasteries, temples which are there, and all the different kind of things that is built there. They go there, they visit these Gompas, they do treks there to see the Meadows and the glaciers which are found there. Apart from that, they witness different kind of ceremonies and festivals are important activities. So there are other treks to see the Meopes and glaciers as well, that witnessing ceremonies and festivals which are very much important activities in Ladakh. Now apart from that, there is life of people which is undergoing change due to the modernization. So apart from that, the people who are living there, they are also going like similarly in the hot desert too, they were like seeing the modernization. Similarly here also they are going through different kind of changes due to the modernization which is being formulated in these areas. So the people of Ladakh have over the centuries learned to live in balance and harmony with the nature. So they started, the people who are living in Ladakh for like in the entire years over the centuries, they have learned to live in balance with harmony and nature. So due to the scarcity of resources like water and fuel, they are used with reverence and care. Nothing is discarded or wasted. So basically they reuse all the things which is surrounded by them, because there is very less resources which are found there, especially water and fuel is very less there. So what they use, they recycle their different kind of things and they make different things out of them. So nothing is being discarded or wasted. They try to reuse each and everything as possible. So they are making a balance of each and everything, of harmony and nature, because there are very less resources which are found there, especially water and fuel. So they use different kind of reverence and care. So nothing is discarded or wasted. So that's it for today's lecture. We have completed with the chapter. This is the homework solution. I have given you questions. So these are the answers for that. Answer number one. For answer number one, it is Sahara Desert covers the large part of North Africa. It is the largest desert of the world. It has an area of around 85.4 lakh square kilometers, and it is almost 2.5 times larger than the total geographical area of India, which is 32 lakh square kilometer. Then apart from that, the Sahara Desert covers 11 countries, which are majorly Algeria, Chad, Egypt, Libya, Mali, Mauritania, Morocco, Niger, Sudan, Tunisia and Western Sahara. Now apart from that, for answer number 2, it is relief of the Sahara Desert. Sahara Desert is a vast expanse of sand and more of sand area, but beside the vast stretches of sand, there are also gravel plains, and which are basically shaded with gravel plains and elevated plateaus with bare rocky surface. These rocky surfaces are more than 2500 meters high at some places, with big boulders of stones and gravels are found all over the desert. Answer number 3, the climate conditions which are there are found in Sahara deserts are basically the climate of the Sahara Desert is scorching hot and parched dry. It has a short rainy season. The sky is cloudless and clear. Here the moisture evaporates faster than it accumulates, and days are unbelievably hot. The temperature during the day scorches as high as 50 degrees Celsius, heating up the sand and bare rocks. They in return radiate heat, making everything hot all around, and the nights are freezing cold with temperature nearing 0 degree Celsius. Now these are the assignment questions that I have given you. This is the assignment that you have to do. So these are 8 questions which are there you have to do as assignment for this particular chapter. Question number 1. Explain the locational setup of the Ladakh cold desert. So you have to tell about the locational setup which is there, where it is there, and where other places it's surrounded by. You have to explain that. Question number 2, you have to discuss about the climate of Ladakh. So what are the climatic conditions which is there in Ladakh? Question number 3, what flora and fauna are found in Ladakh? So what kind of flora which has been there and what kind of fauna which are there in Ladakh? Now question number 4, which tribes inhabited Ladakh? Explain their ways of life. So you have to tell about which kind of tribes which are situated in Ladakh and what kind of ways of life that they are living there. Question number 5, name the 4 passes which the Manali-Leh highway crosses. So you have to tell about the 4 passes which passes through Manali and Leh highway. And question number 6, describe an oasis and its major features. So that is there from hot desert that is being there. Question number 7, how is Sahara's landscape gradually changing? And question number 8, which area in the Sahara supports settled life and how? So these are your assignment questions which you have to do from this chapter. We are completed with the chapter, and if you still have any queries, anything that you are not able to understand, please let me know in the online class. I'm there to explain you each and everything again. And please do these homework questions as well, assignment questions as well. That's it. Thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and please take care of yourself.